For years, they called it a conspiracy theory. Anyone questioning certain lab practices was silenced, censored, shamed, and ridiculed. But something just landed on President Trump's desk that's about to change everything we thought we knew about the pandemic's origins. The document we've obtained doesn't just confirm suspicions, it reveals a web of deception that goes far deeper than anyone imagined. By the end of this report, you'll understand why certain government officials are lawyering up and why one particular doctor's hands are shaking during his last congressional testimony. And just as President Trump is fighting to restore strength to American men by banning dangerous lab experiments, Test Boost Max is fighting to restore men's natural vitality. In an era where traditional masculinity is under attack, this breakthrough formula helps reclaim your body's power. While Dr. Fauci's experiments weakened America, Test Boost Max, 8 powerful natural ingredients help strengthen American men. Join the revolution against weakness. Visit buildwithgary.com. You'll find it linked down below this video. Just tap more and receive a free bottle with your first order. Stand strong against the forces that are trying to diminish American manhood. Now, this just in from the White House, President Trump signing an executive order to end all present and future federal funding for dangerous gain-of-function research in countries of concern, while enhancing the safety and security of U.S. biological research without hindering innovation. I have a post up on X. It's quite a lengthy thread. Dissected the whole thing last night. I'm going to get into that in a moment. But let's go to the moment in the Oval Office where RFK was there during the signing of this executive order.
Mr. President, a gain-of-function, this is an historic day, the end of gain-of-function research funding by the federal government and also controls by private corporations on gain-of-function studies. This was the kind of study that was engaged in by the United States military and intelligence agencies beginning in 1947. By 1969, the CIA said that they had reached nuclear equivalency, that they could kill the entire U.S. population for 29 cents a person. That year, President Nixon went to Fort Detrick and announced a unilateral end to this kind of research, to what they call dual-use research, research that was for vaccination and also for military purposes. He then persuaded over 180 countries to sign the Bioweapons Charter in 1973. That basically ended gain-of-function research around the globe until 2002. Until 2001, after the anthrax attacks, we passed the Patriot Act, and the Patriot Act had a provision, a little-known provision in it, that said that although the Bioweapons Charter is still in effect, and the Geneva Convention is still in effect, U.S. federal officials who violate it cannot be prosecuted. And that relaunched a bioweapons arms race, and that was driven by gain-of-function research. In 2014, 3 of those bugs escaped from U.S. labs, and President Obama declared a moratorium on future use, and instead a lot of that research was moved offshore to the Wuhan lab. And it launched bioweapons arms race all around the country, all around the world, so that China's engaged in it, developing all kinds of weapons using AI and CRISPR technologies that are really devastating. Russia is deeply engaged in it, Iran and many other countries. It's a kind of weapon that always has blowback. There's always bad news. And the justification for this kind of weaponry was, and these kind of research, was always that we have to do this, develop vaccines to counter a future pandemic. In all of the history of gain-of-function research, we can't point to a single good thing that's come from it. And today, I commend President Trump for his courage and his vision in ending U.S. bioweapons research.
Yeah, well, here he is, RFK Jr. on Fox talking about Anthony Fauci. Here's some more.
1947, as you pointed out, gain-of-function studies, the kind of science that is designed to make microbes and pathogens more virulent, more transmissible, and more deadly. It was in this country, they started doing it in 1947, the military and the intelligence agencies, in order to develop bioweapons. In 1969, President Nixon banned it all, shut down Fort Detrick, shut down all the labs. That ban, and then signed the Bioweapons Convention. That ban lasted till 2001. And after the anthrax attacks, Anthony Fauci essentially restarted the arms race and the bioweapons arms race, and did it under the pretension of developing vaccines because of the same science that you develop bioweapons and vaccines. In 2014, 3 of his bugs escaped, and 300 scientists wrote letters to President Obama asking him to shut down Anthony Fauci. President Obama declared a moratorium, but instead of shutting down his experiments, he moved them offshore, mainly to the Wuhan lab. And now, the principal institutions of our government, the CIA, the FBI, the State Department, Department of Energy, all say that it is most likely that those experiments resulted in the COVID-19 pandemic beginning in 2019. So President Trump today moved to shut down this kind of research in this country and to stop funding it abroad. As you point,
here's more from Secretary Kennedy.
Biden administration, first of all, what we're cutting is waste, fraud, and abuse. We're streamlining an agency that grew by 38% in the 4 years that President Biden was in the White House, and we're dialing it back to the pre-Biden administration. And the agency was not doing what it was supposed to be doing, which is preventing disease, chronic disease, particularly in Americans. Americans during that period got sicker and sicker and sicker. Oh, and the agency is bloated. When I got there were 100 communications departments. There were 40 procurement departments, 40 IT departments, 40 HR departments. And we streamlined the agency. We got rid of the redundancy, and that's how we save that money. We're not getting rid of any critical research, and we're not getting rid of any of the programs that are critical to Americans' health care. First of all, what we're cutting is waste.
Continuing on with this executive order, Clandestine writes, "Hey, Joe Biden and Democrats, why did you pardon Fauci and Hunter for all crimes they may have committed beginning January 1st, 2014. Coincidentally, the same year Hunter got USAID contracts to begin gain-of-function research in Ukraine, asking for 8 billion friends. Anthony Fauci getting pardoned by Joe Biden. Not a single thing good has come from the research. Here we have the most significant function that was gained. Anthony Fauci's fortune doubled to $15 million between early 2019 and 2023, according to a watchdog, during the worst of the COVID lockdowns. Oh, and who can ever forget what they did? What they did worldwide. This video has been circulating recently in light of this news. Rare footage of French politicians putting on masks right before starting a PR stunt. How easy is it to fool people?
Mettez les masques, mettez les masques. Mettez les masques.
Allez-y partout.
Bien. On peut y aller? Tout le monde est prêt? Bien, mesdames et messieurs, le résultat de ce second tour a démenti tous les sondages et d'où jouer tous les pronostics. Ce soir, j'ai gagné et nous
We will never forget what they did to us. Let's keep going. Here is more from Secretary Kennedy.
We're going to take a wild virus and we're going to make it more pathogenic, more virulent, more deadly. And then we're going to develop a vaccine for that. And that's classic gain-of-function research. Why are they doing that? What is the rationale for them doing that? The only real rationale, if you think about it, is to develop bioweapons and then develop a defense to those bioweapons. So that's what they were doing. And Anthony Fauci was given a 68% raise by the military because of these new military responsibilities.
He made a lot of money. Here is Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, his speech on the end of federal funding for gain-of-function research.
On humans, this is a historic day. The conduct of this dangerous gain-of-function research, which aims at taking pathogens and making them more virulent, more transmissible on humans, many scientists believe is responsible for the COVID pandemic. The conduct of this research does not protect us against pandemics, as some people might say. It doesn't protect us against other nations. What it does is there's always a danger that in doing this research, it might leak out just by accident even, and cause a pandemic. Any nation that engages in this research endangers their own population as well as the world, as we saw during the COVID pandemic. This proclamation makes it so that most science is actually poses no threat. The vast majority of science will go on under this as normal. But the fraction of this research that has the risk of causing a pandemic, harming every single person on the face of the earth, we're going to put it, this proclamation, this executive order puts in place a framework to make sure that the public has a say, that if such a risk is being taken, that only scientists alone won't be able to decide that. That in fact the public can say no, don't take this risk. And I'm really, really proud to be here with President Trump, who's signed this order, ending this research, and for the first time putting in place a real regulatory framework to make it go away forever.
So it can leak out like from Wuhan, and a lot of people think that. I think I said that right from day one. It leaked out whether it was to the girlfriend or somebody else, but scientist walked outside to have lunch with a girlfriend or was together with a lot of people. But that's how it leaked out, in my opinion, and I've never changed that opinion. So it can leak out innocently, stupidly, incompetently, but innocently, and half destroy the world, right?
That's right. That's right, Mr. President. It's
Mr. President, there are, I think,
and some people believe it was done intentionally, not by mistake. Okay, so we've got this thread here. I want to bring this up to you guys. Well, check this out. This is when Fauci was literally shaking. Well, he lied to Congress about funding gain-of-function research in Wuhan when he's being grilled by Senator Rand Paul. Look at his hand. Watch his hand here.
The truth. What we're alleging is that gain-of-function research was going on in that lab, and NIH funded it. That is not. Get away from it. It meets your definition, and you are obfuscating the truth. I'm not obfuscating the truth. You are the one. I'm not obfuscating the truth. You are the one. I'm not obfuscating the truth. You are the one. What we're alleging is that gain-of-function research.
Yeah, he knows his goose is cooked. Before we get to the deep dive into the executive order, here is Megyn Kelly discussing the gain-of-function research.
This COVID. But let me ask you specifically, because we already know that EcoHealth Alliance was partnering with this Wuhan lab to do gain-of-function research.
That's right.
We just have never been able to have somebody say, it was that exact experiment that led to this COVID bug. But have we gotten there? What's the new thing that you're digging in on?
We are working on that with Jay Bhattacharya and look forward to being able to share that, hopefully very soon.
Okay.
That specific
link.
Correct, between the gain-of-function research and what we saw with COVID-19.
I mean, that would be extraordinary because just so the audience knows, if that's true, if it was Peter Daszak's research with the Wuhan so-called bat lady that caused this pandemic, then we did fund it. Then Anthony Fauci helped fund the pandemic.
The thing that he denied over and over and over to Senator Rand Paul's questioning.
That's right.
And that's why he received the pardon from Joe Biden. Tulsi Gabbard is digging into it. But, I mean, there's got to be another way to prosecute this guy. I mean, the blood is on his hands worldwide. Representative James Comer, 24 hours ago, every American should be outraged that their tax dollars are used by mad scientists to engineer more deadly and transmissible coronaviruses. The Biden administration and Dr. Fauci allowed your money to fund risky and secretive gain-of-function research. He applauds President Trump for banning taxpayer-funded gain-of-function research. The American people ultimately deserve science that protects them, not taxpayer-funded experiments that put lives at risk. And he was quote tweeting the New York Post that was announcing the executive order. Oh, who remembers this picture? Dr. Anthony Fauci maskless at a baseball game. Or this picture, Nancy Pelosi, when she shut down all the salons and businesses in San Francisco, but no, she was able to go get her hair did, right? So let's keep going here. Let's see, this was 11 hours ago. So we've gone from Trump doesn't know where COVID came from and it's racist for calling it the China virus to yes, the virus was from Tony Fauci funded gain-of-function lab in Wuhan. Remember this?
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. It comes from China. I want to be accurate. It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. Racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. No, not at all. It comes from China.
I will never forget that moment either. China. Comes from China. Okay, let's dig deeper now into this executive order. Okay, let's see. Here it is. The crackdown begins. President Trump signing a historic executive order in the Oval Office, sending shockwaves through the biotech industry and bureaucrats who profited from dangerous virus experiments. We are breaking it all down. So the order begins slamming the brakes on dangerous gain-of-function research, the kind of reckless lab work that can supercharge viruses and unleash pandemics. It is no longer business as usual. The free ride is over. Dangerous gain-of-function research on biological agents and pathogens has the potential to significantly endanger the lives of American citizens. It's over. And so is Biden's legacy. Trump just shut down reckless virus experiments funded by U.S. taxpayers, especially in hostile nations like China. Biden let it happen. Trump is ending it cold, and the swamp is screening. Effective immediately, China getting cut off. The EO ends all federal funding for dangerous gain-of-function research in foreign countries of concern, specifically calling out China. No more U.S. dollars fueling foreign biolabs. You can see right here on the left side of that screen, China is specifically highlighted and targeted. Stopping bioweapons abroad, not just gain of function. Trump's order halts funding for any life science research overseas that lacks proper U.S. oversight and poses a threat to public health or national security. It is a total shutdown. Yes, shut it down now. Trump's team is not waiting around. His EO demands the immediate suspension of dangerous gain-of-function research until strict new safety rules are in place. No delays, no loopholes, and no excuses. And the rules are coming fast. The EO gives 120 days to rewrite the government entire oversight policy on high-risk biological research. More transparency, stronger enforcement, and tighter definitions. Bureaucrats are now on the clock, 120 days. Now there's enforcement. Trump's new policy will not be toothless. Federal grants will now include enforcement clauses, audits, penalties, and funding shutdowns if rules are broken. Play stupid games, lose federal money. And the labs are also under the microscope. The EO targets synthetic DNA screening. Every provider will be forced to verify and track nucleic acid orders. No more backdoor biotech for terrorists or rogue states. No Fed funding, no escape. You think private labs are off the hook? Think again. Trump's EO develops a nationwide strategy to track non-federally funded dangerous research. No funding, doesn't matter. You're still being watched. Bio research now going public. For the first time, institutions must report their dangerous gain-of-function work, even if privately funded, and it will be available for the public to see. No more secrets, no more hiding behind grants. And the funding comes with strings. Trump's order rewrites every future research contract. If you want government money, you must certify full compliance or lose it all. That includes foreign labs, universities, and even big pharma. And no dirty deals overseas. Grant recipients must now swear they're not funding risky foreign bio research that threatens national security. If they lie, they lose everything. This closes the loophole that Biden left wide open. Guilty by association. If a single researcher violates Trump's order, the entire institution can be punished. No more hiding behind layers of bureaucracy. The hammer comes down on everyone involved. And if you break the rules under Trump's new order, and your lab could be cut off from federal funding for 5 years. That's a death sentence for most institutions. The era of accountability has finally arrived. Now, what is dangerous? Trump defines it clearly as any research that makes a virus deadlier, more contagious, harder to treat, or revives eradicated diseases is considered dangerous gain of function, so there's no gray area. So the next time Dr. Fauci is dragged before Congress, he can't try to twist the words like he did with Rand Paul so many times. No more Frankenviruses enhancing a virus's ability to evade vaccines, resist treatment, or infect new hosts. That's banned under Trump's EO. The shutdown's the exact type of research that may have triggered COVID-19. And the pandemic playbook has been tossed. Trump rejecting the old trust the experts model. His EO installs top-down oversight and independent enforcement, removing control from career bureaucrats and placing it in accountable hands. Real oversight and no lip service. Trump's EO demands regular review every 4 years or sooner to ensure rules stay up to date. No more outdated frameworks sitting on dusty shelves while labs run wild. Suspensions go public. Under Trump's EO, any dangerous research that gets suspended or shut down must be reported and made public. No more quiet cover-ups. If your project gets axed, America will know why. And no more hiding behind science. Trump's order ends the era of unaccountable experts hiding risky experiments under layers of jargon. From now on, every project must prove it benefits Americans or it's defunded. And Congress is next. Trump is not stopping at executive power. His EO orders a legislative proposal to give the government full authority to shut down rogue biotech operations nationwide. And if gaps exist, they are getting closed. Follow the money. Trump's executive order makes compliance legally binding. If a lab breaks the rule, they're not just in violation, they could face fraud charges under federal law. Taxpayer dollars now come with iron chains. Now, on the record forever, Trump's EO is not just a press stunt. It orders the Department of Health and Human Services to fund its own publication in the Federal Register. This is permanent policy written, filed, and enforced. We are inside the room as credentialed White House press. We don't rely on secondhand spin. We get the facts firsthand, direct from the White House. Follow Next News Network for exclusive access, real-time Trump updates, and the stories the corporate media won't touch. There is yours truly in the White House. So the implications of this report and this executive order are clear. For years, unelected bureaucrats played God in government labs while putting millions of lives at risk. The same people who locked you down, masked your children, and destroyed small businesses were funding the very research that may have started it all. So here's what we need to ask ourselves. Who authorized these dangerous experiments? Where did the money really go? And most importantly, who profited from the pandemic? You saw that New York Post headline, right? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you check out the Next News Network merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. That is where true patriots gather to support real journalism and wear it proudly.